How's everybody doing today? Alright, I figured on the way home I'd go ahead and start talking about when I was around 9 years old, staying with a family member after school. Just a little details about it. After school, we'd go over to a family member's house, and once everybody was done with homework, normally everybody would just go outside and start playing with other friends or family. After a short time of being there, once everybody went outside to play, I was made to stay inside and to play a game. And it went on for a little while, and then luckily we were able to start going and staying with a grandparent. So it didn't last a long time, but it was enough to be traumatic. And I will look back and I wish it never happened, because but I'm also thankful that God allowed me to not have any memory of it until I got older. I had no memory of those things happening to me until I was about 24, 25. And it hit me like a rock. It was just a flood of emotions and memories of those things happening, and I didn't know what to do. I definitely didn't want to tell nobody, because I was scared and embarrassed, because I didn't know what people were going to think of me. And that was hard, because it wasn't my fault. But I ended up telling my wife, but my drinking got way worse. Before about 24, 25, I was what you'd call the fun guy at the party. But around 24, 25, I was just mad. I was angry at anybody and everybody. I was mad at God. I didn't know why He allowed that to happen to me. I was always in church when I was little. When I was growing up, I was involved in youth and all these things. And I was mad that was able to happen to me, even though I believed in Him. And so I wrote church off altogether. My wife and kids would still go some, but she didn't go as much, because she wanted to go to church, but at the same time she was trying to support me. And I love her for that, but I wish she would have just stuck with it, because that wasn't fair to her. But now my relationship with God, and looking back, He had a plan for all of it, even though I didn't understand it, and I still don't understand everything now. But He had a plan for it. And I hope now, being able to come out and physically talk about it to the public, that it'll encourage somebody else. If something like that's happening to you, tell somebody that you really trust. A counselor at school, your family, if you're older like me. Don't walk around with that burden and that pain, hiding it. Everybody's not going to understand. The hardest part, after I told my parents about it at 24 years old, I was probably about closer to 25 then. It was right before Christmas, and she asked if I was coming to the family Christmas get-together. And I asked if that particular person would be there. She said yes. I said, then no, I'm not coming. And for the next 3 or 4 years, every year I got invited to Christmas, and I asked the same thing. Is that person going to be there? Yes. And after telling my close family about it, it was a big deal, but it wasn't a big deal. And that hurt me, because I wanted somebody to take my side. I wanted somebody to just completely write that person off and never have anything to do with them because of what they did. But it didn't happen that way, and it's okay. So you might tell people, and they're not going to understand. You're probably not going to get the reaction that you wanted. 9 times out of 10, you won't. But get that out there so you can be free. It's all about you and your feeling and your feelings and your mental state. Because holding that stuff in is just such a mental burden. But now, being able to come out and talk about it and having a relationship with God, I was never going to forgive that person, ever. I held on to it because it was a reminder for me to protect my kids. But it was also like I held on to it so I could have that anger. And it just fueled my drinking. I ruined so many relationships with family members over it. But a few months ago, I physically and verbally went and forgave that person. And I no longer hold a grudge. I no longer hold any anger or burden towards them. I don't have a direct relationship with them anymore. But if I go to a Christmas gathering, I'll say hey or wish them well. And that's just part of my healing. Everybody's story, everybody's situation is going to be different. But at least if you take the step to forgive the people who may have done wrong to you, whether you understand it or not, that's the first step into healing yourself, finding sobriety. Because if you can't let those things go, if you can't move on and get rid of that pain or that hate or that regret, it's always going to keep reminding you. It's always going to sneak up on you, and then you're going to want something to numb that pain or that hurt and regret. And if that's the case, it's always going to come back, and you're always going to be back where you were. So you've got to do that first. You've got to let go of those demons that hold on to you. You've got to forgive. You've got to let it go, and you got to forget about it and move on. Let God handle it. One day those people will be judged. It's not my job to judge them. It's not any of our jobs to judge anybody. That's God's job. So give it all to God. Ask Him for the strength for it. Talk to Him about it. If you're not in the Word of the Bible yet, I encourage you, start. It has so many answers and so many things that help you. And it's just a guide for your life. But if anybody watching this video did ever go through that, I'm sorry. And it's okay. It's not your fault. You did nothing to deserve it. But you shouldn't have to be living with it every day for the rest of your life. Start that journey now and just move forward so you can heal and take care of yourself. Because most likely that person's out there living just fine. You're the only one sitting here hurting and hurting other relationships and hurting yourself. So it's not doing anything to hurt the other person back. It's just hurting you. But I pray every night for anybody who may be struggling with this, because it's hard. And I know most of these videos younger people won't see, because I put the not for kids when I post these videos. I wish there was younger people out there that could see these videos, because there's a lot of kids, a lot of teenagers out there who have gone through this, that may not be lucky enough to have these memories suppressed until they're an older adult, where they may be able to mentally or physically handle what happened. But I pray every night for anybody who's ever gone through this or is going through this, that God will put somebody in their life to help them and to get it stopped. It's an awful thing. And it happens way too much, more than anybody or most people even know. But if you've gone through anything like this, go to God with it. Give it to God and let Him help you through that, and let Him walk with you and be with you through this healing. Because I promise you, you can't do it without Him. If you try, yeah, you may succeed for a week, a month, maybe even a year. But it's all going to come back. It's going to keep haunting you, because no alcohol, no drug, none of that will ever completely wash away all that pain. And I know that for a fact, because I drank more because of it. Because at times, 6 beers wasn't enough. Half a bottle of vodka wasn't enough. And so I would keep going until I just blacked out. That was the only way to not have my pain, is because I would just pass out. But the next morning, 9 times out of 10, I woke up with regrets. I hurt somebody. I hurt somebody's feelings. I ruined a relationship. I was mean to my wife, or I was mean to my kids. And so finally, God just started working on me. And now I'm rebuilding a lot of those relationships. My wife and my kids are so much happier. And I show them so much more love, because I'm there mentally and physically. I'm not running away from my demons, which also turned into me running away from them. So please, if you're going through any of these things, addiction, past things that happen to you that you hold on to, whatever it may be, go to God and give it to Him. Pray about it. Start reading the Bible and let Him help you through this walk and this journey, because you can't do it alone. And He is the best person to have on your side. He's right there beside you with open arms, wanting to help you. We need His help, but you have to ask Him for it. You have to go to Him and ask for His help. I hope everybody has a great day, and I hope this video helps somebody. I appreciate y'all watching. Thanks.